Thank you for purchasing this message. We sincerely believe that one word from God can change your entire life. It is our prayer that as you listen to this message, faith will rise in your heart, and with confidence you will possess the purpose that God has ordained for you.
After talking about planning, there's a need for me to address the issue of opportunity. Because a lot of people are believing God for money, and God will not send money, God will send you opportunity. So whilst you are waiting for the $1 million to fall from the sky, opportunity may be knocking at your door, which encompasses more than the $1 million you are believing God for. But because it is not money, you don't want to go for it. You don't want to talk about it. You don't want to go anywhere near it. You don't even know what to do. And so you still cry out to God. You still talk to God about issues that God resolved 5-10 years ago, but you did not take advantage of. On Wednesday, I was speaking about Jacob. And I was speaking about how Jacob had labored. He had labored 7 years for one woman, another 7 years for another woman, and 14 years. He had been in a strange land. It was his mother's background, and Jacob had labored. And the Bible says after 14 years, he wanted to go home. The angel of the Lord appeared to him. He had a strong desire to go home. And do you know that there was a prophecy over the life of Jacob, that Jacob had received angelic visitations before he got into the land that he was going into? Are you aware of that? That in Genesis chapter 28, when he came to the place where the Bible says that the sun was set, that angels ascended and descended, and the Most High himself stood on top of the ladder of the ascension and descension of the angels, and the Most High said that the ground upon which you are lying, I will give it to you. And he said, I will multiply your seed. And he gave him a lot of promises. And the Bible says Jacob made a vow and said, if God will be with me, and if God will give me food to eat, and if God will give me raiment to wear, and bring me back to my father's house in peace, surely of a truth, a tenth of all will I give to God. So Jacob got into a vow to seal the prophecy. But guess what? In spite of the prophecy, Jacob went into a strange land, and everything went in the opposite direction. Jacob was a supplanter. That is the meaning of Jacob. A supplanter, a deceiver. He was a smart guy who was able to negotiate and take his brother's birthright out of his hands. So Jacob was a skillful schemer. He was very shrewd, and he was a manipulator. But in spite of all of these strategies and all of these attitudes, he met his match. Because Laban was schemer cubed, not even squared. Laban was manipulator to the 10th degree. And Laban put Jacob where he belonged. He said, you are a schemer, meet your match. I will deal with you until you know you are thoroughly dealt with. He dealt with the young man until the young man lost everything. Because Jacob was believing God for Rachel. Woke up in the morning and there was Leah. And he said, what did you do to me? This is the one that my heart was after. And Laban said, my friend, in this land that you are standing, there are rules, regulations, traditions, and cultures. The culture of this land does not allow for the younger to marry before the elder. Did they not tell you? You just came, you want to marry the younger one. No, it doesn't work that way. If you want the younger one, then you got to serve 7 years for the first one, 7 years for the second one. And because Jacob loved Rachel, the 14 years moved like 1 week. He served diligently and skillfully 14 solid years. Meanwhile, within the 14 years, every now and then, Laban would change his salary. 10 times was Jacob's wages changed. He didn't say anything. After he served the 14 years and had what his heart desired, then he said to Laban, Laban, you know, you have dealt with me, but you got to understand that I'm a master schemer. Now let's put the cards on the table. Enough is enough. Give me my wives and my children and let me go. And Laban said, listen, you can't do this to me at this time when business is thriving and flourishing. I have learned by experience, even though you have come into my life, I consulted the oracles. Do you know that Laban was into occultism? That is why when Jacob was going away and he realized that his gods were not there, he pursued Jacob. Meanwhile, Richard was the one that had stolen the gods. And so Laban was into high-level occultic practices. He said, I've learned by experience. I understand through the oracles. I consulted the occult. My gods informed me. I received spiritual information from the negative perspective. That it is your coming that has given me the prosperity that I have. So you know something? Let's strike a deal. Jacob said, strike a deal. Now is my time. The iron is red. This is the time to strike. I'm talking about opportunity. Because in life, what is going to bring you into your destiny and give you the desires of your heart is called opportunity. In spite of the struggles of Jacob, in spite of the difficult times of Jacob, in spite of the fact that he had been cheated, in spite of the fact that his wages had been turned around 10 times, a time came, say time. A time came that he had a golden opportunity and he didn't miss it at all. I showed you some things that I don't want to get back into. The Bible says that he said to Laban, Laban, you have cheated me 14 years. I'm not saying anything. But Laban, I need to be able to take care of my own house. So if you are asking for a deal, then let's negotiate. Let's negotiate. So Laban, this time around, I don't want you to give me any wages. I don't want you to give me any salary. I don't want you to give me anything. All I want is a spotted and a speckled. And Laban said, we need white wool to sell on the international market for all the merchants that pass by, and all you want is a spotted and a speckled. Take it quickly. And the Bible makes it clear that Jacob, the way he started negotiating, he said, I don't want anything but. So he made it seem to Laban like he was not interested in anything. And he skillfully put his words in place. He skillfully negotiated. But after negotiating, he came to a place of using strategy, of using planning, and using the powers of opportunity. It didn't happen overnight. It took 6 solid years. For those of you who read the Bible very quickly and think that because you finish reading it in 5 minutes, everything took 5 minutes, I have news for you. It took 6 years. And within the 6 years, Jacob operated skillfully. He took advantage of the opportunity that was in his hands. He took advantage of his years of experience as a shepherd. He took advantage of the powers of nature. He took advantage of the hand of God. He took advantage of everything. And mind you, there was a prophecy hanging over the head of Jacob. But even though there was a prophecy, the prophecy was not just going to come to pass. Jacob had to do some things physically. Jacob had to engage naturally. You know, even though there can be a prophecy over your life, if you don't take advantage of your time, if you don't take advantage of your chance, if you don't take advantage of your moment, if you don't seize your moment, the prophecy may be hanging and you die and go to the grave. Because a lot of you are walking around saying, there's a prophecy over my life, and God said, and you don't keep your mouth quiet. And the prophecy is there, but you are not doing the things that will bring the prophecy to pass. If you look at the days of Isaac, the Bible says that there was a famine in the days of Isaac besides the famine in the days of Abraham. And the Bible says Isaac wanted to go down to Gerar, and God said to him, don't go down to Egypt. He said, dwell in this land and I'll bless you. But the fact that God said I'll bless you because of your father's obedience did not mean that the blessing was going to happen automatically. The Bible makes it clear that Isaac had to sow in the land, and the Bible says that, and the Lord blessed him. So God combines the spiritual with the natural. It's a combination of so many things that is going to bring you into your destiny. Don't just be lying down and praying and thinking that just because you prayed, everything is going to happen. Apart from prayer, you got to make some moves, but you got to understand some things. Jacob took advantage of the opportunity opportunity that came to him, because now he could negotiate. If it was earlier on, Jacob didn't have the voice, he didn't have anything to say, because that was not the right time. Let me give you the 4 things very quickly. There are some things that you got to understand, and understand them carefully. If you don't understand them, you are going to run into some crisis. Number 1, a wrong action at the wrong time leads to disaster. A wrong action at the wrong time leads to disaster. Underline disaster. If you don't know how to spell it, I'll spell it for you. Number 2, the right action at the wrong time brings resistance. The right action at the wrong time brings resistance. So even though what you're doing is the correct thing, even though what you're doing is the right thing, if the timing is off, you will experience a lot of problems. The first one, wrong action plus wrong time is equal to disaster. The second one, right action plus wrong time is equal to resistance. It's one thing to figure out what should be done. It's another thing to figure out when to make a move. When. Number 3, a wrong action at the right time is a mistake. Should I take it over again so you can understand? Number 1, wrong action, wrong time, disaster. Number 2, right action, wrong time, resistance. So you are doing the right thing, but it's at the wrong time, resistance. Number 3, wrong action, right time, mistake. Number 4, the right action at the right time results in success. So you must get the equation right. When there's a right leader at the right time, and when they come together, incredible things can happen. When there's a right business partner at the right time, incredible, miraculous things, wonderful things can happen. So every part of the equation must be right. Right time, right action. And in life, a lot of times we do the wrong thing at the right time, or the right thing at the wrong time. We get one portion of the equation wrong, and we face resistance, or we encounter disaster, or we face all kinds of mistakes, and we blame it on anybody. But Jacob was able at the right time to take the right action, and he broke through. The right timing and the right action is what you call seizing the moment, or taking advantage of the opportunity. There are some things that if you do today, you're going to run into a lot of problems. But if you do 3 or 5 years from now, it's going to be all right. Timing is everything. Study about timing and resilience. You got to understand the things about timing, because timing is everything. If you miss the timing, if the timing is off, everything just gets out of control. Everything just messes up. And so timing is so critical. And as I speak about opportunity, even though I'm teaching about biblical principles for financial prosperity, I don't want to limit it just to finances. I want to show you some things from the Bible. Because a lot of you have blown a lot of things in your life, and you are blaming God for the things you've blown. When you read from Genesis chapter 30 and verse 43, the Bible says that the man increased exceedingly. He broke through, he prospered, because he was able to marry opportunity and timing. He was able to take the right actions at the right time, and heaven was backing him. The power of God was backing him, and so he broke through.
For more information about Bishop Senyo Bulla or Senyo Bulla Ministries, visit us online at www.senyobulla.org.